Okay, we are live for some questions and answers, but I seem to have misplaced Justin for a while. So I was just sort of seeing if any of the other admins want to jump in, but none of them were ready in time. But that's okay. I will just sit here and chat to myself. It's pretty much something I tend to do a lot anyway. So it is all good. So what we thought we would be talking about tonight, and it's all good because I do know most of the answers, is I shall put the question up here and show you what I thought, what we're going to cover just quickly. There you go. It jumps in my face there. So that's some of the questions that we're going to cover. And if you check the comments, you'll see that I've actually put most of those questions up in the comments area. So we will address those one by one. And hopefully at some stage, Justin, he's quite possibly had a bit of a snooze today because he's been on the go with phone calls and media engagements and stuff all day. So it's not a problem. I'm sure I've got Anita in the background doing some stuff for me, and she will pop in and give me some questions if we have any that I've missed. So probably the biggest thing is the app is up and running, and it is up and running on both platforms. Okay, so there is this one here is, if you click on that one will take you to the Apple Store, to the app, and this one will take you to the Android, to the Google Play Store. Okay, so that one those two links will take you to it. Our little logo thing that looks like this, if you look for a square version of that, that's what the cover of the app looks like. So you'll know you've got the right one. Okay, and on the page and the group anyway, you will find that all the links are there. Now, I just got a message that Justin had the time mixed up, and I apologise for that, but it had to be a 5:30 because I have friends that have birthdays happening today. So, it is a good friend's birthday today. So she's turning 60. So tonight at the 8 o'clock session, there is no interview tonight. So because I'm actually going to a Zoom birthday party for her. And it tends to sort of, I can see Justin's there. So I will bring him up in a second. So I do have, I want to do a shout out because my mum, I was talking to my mum today, and she lives in a retirement village, so she's a little bit isolated. She's doing the whole, it's hard. She's got 6 grandkids. They can't go see her. Tomorrow is her birthday. And she remembers when she first did her nurses training, for example, or when she was sort of 18, 19, that it was awesome having your birthday the day before Anzac Day because it meant that she always had the public holiday to recover. So that was when she was a younger one, that was pretty good. She's about, she's in her 70s now, and it's her birthday tomorrow. So I just want to do a big shout out to my mum, because I know that she's actually been tuning in to watch me so that she can actually go, oh, I know her. That's that person that normally comes to visit. Anyway, I'm going to bring Justin up now. I've kept him in the green room long enough.
Hello,
so
everybody.
Justin, I've just you did miss my little intro, but that's okay. Pretty much all I've done so far is mention the fact that the app is now available both on Android and on Apple. It is free, and the link is in the comments, so there shouldn't be any drama with that. But I have noticed that we are getting inundated with questions about the app. So I've put in a few of the questions into here, so we might just go straight into the app questions. Okay, so the first one, is it ready? Yes, it is.
Bloody oath, it is.
It is well and truly ready. It has been trialed. We've ironed out all sorts of bugs. There are some little ones which Justin will cover in a minute. So
Just have to let my
do I download it? Okay, he's going to go find his phone. Okay, how do I download the app? Go to the App Store or go to the Google Play Store and type in Anzac Day 2020. And like I said, that way, as long as it looks like that orange square in the corner of our screen at the moment, on the App Store, it's a square, but it's that picture and those colorings. So as long as you can see that, then you've got the right app. Okay, and it is a free app. It is not going to cost you anything, and it is in the Google Play and the iTunes Store at the moment. So download that. Okay, so that's how it is downloaded.
What is the name of the app? I think you just covered that one. Anzac Day 2020. So that's Anzac Day 2020 in either of those stores. I had a call earlier. Somebody said all they did was type in Anzac and it came up. So the more it's downloaded, the faster it comes up the list of results. And we're averaging about 1,000.
3 days ago, we were scrolling for like 20 minutes to find it. So that's awesome that it's now right up there at the top. That's brilliant. So it makes it nice.
Yep. Thanks, Tia. We're now averaging. Thanks, Tia. We're now averaging 1,000 downloads an hour. So really? It's trending very high. It should be really easy to find just by typing in Anzac. How does the app work? Well, it's a little difficult to demonstrate it on screen. So if anybody's got it in front of them, when you first open the app, it's going to ask you, firstly, it'll ask you if you'd like to donate to Soldier On, and we would like to encourage everybody to do that. When you do donate, you're going to unlock some Facebook frames that are specifically have I donated written on them. And you can do that at the beginning when it prompts you, or you can do it by selecting that frame at a later stage or just going through the link on the website there.
So that's what it looks like when I download it.
The next thing it'll ask.
I've already added my flag, yeah.
Thanks, Tia. I'm going to walk people through it from the beginning. So
okay.
A little difficult
you have to angle it. Yeah, you're light.
Yeah, I'll turn my contrast down.
That's it. Now we can see it. Perfect.
When you get to this page and you tap that there, you'll see Australia, New Zealand, and other. We couldn't set the map up properly in terms of how it appears on the globe. It just didn't fit.
Sorry, I was hoping I could get you bigger.
I don't need to be bigger. So if I touch Australia, it's then going to bring up a list of postcodes. Now, as you can imagine, there's a lot of postcodes in Australia. So if you see the little magnifying glass up here, if I can press the right thing, touching that magnifying glass, there we go, will give you the ability to, this is really hard to do in reverse, to type in a postcode. And then you can select, well, Everything's backwards, so I'm just going to select that one. Then we hit OK. And the next thing, I'm just in the settings at the moment, the next thing it will ask you is to select a flag. Now, the reason we have a number of flags here is because we have a number of allies, or a number of allied nations over the years. And in the latest update, which should come through on Android and iOS before Saturday, the red ensign will be included. We've had a number of people ask for the red ensign. So I'm going to select the US flag because that's who my father fought with. Oh, this is so awkward backwards, isn't it? Sorry, I have to do that. And the last thing it will do is we'll land on what we call the candle screen. Like I said, it's a bit hard to see. I'm trying to angle it accordingly, but it just doesn't really want to show up very well. There we go. So you can see the US flag there. On one side, we have the Australian flag and the Aboriginal flag. And on the other side, we have the New Zealand and the Maori flag. Now, at 5:30 in the morning, in whatever time zone you're in, that candle is going to light. And at 6:15, that candle is going to go out. However, after it goes out at 6:15, you're able to touch it, turn it on and off all you like. So at the moment, it's off, and it will actually come to life at 5:30. That's when the full dawn service begins. At 5 minutes to 6 on that candle screen, I'll stop trying to hold it up, but at 5 minutes to 6 on that candle screen, you're going to see a message pop up there where the countdown currently is that says, please proceed to your driveway. If you're not already there, that's the time to get out the front. And at 6 o'clock, the schedule from the Australian War Memorial and the ABC broadcast is that at 6 o'clock, we're going to hear the reading of the Ode for the Fallen, followed by the last post, and that's where all you musicians will kick in and play in synchronized. After that, we'll have the 1 to 2 minutes of silence. There's a little bit of uncertainty whether it's 1 minute or two from the Australian War Memorial at the moment. Lastly, it will be reveille. Those who can play reveille, it's a challenging piece. Play along, stay in sync, the same tempo. And then finally, we'll hear the Australian National Anthem here, and in New Zealand, Radio New Zealand will be playing the New Zealand and Australian national anthems. That will conclude the service, and we'll find that the ABC presenter will conclude the service. But while they're doing that, we'd actually really like everybody to give a round of applause. And that round of applause is for yourselves, for each other, for all of the countless millions of people that are following this movement. And more importantly, it's for our veterans and those frontline workers, health workers, retail workers, and the people that are currently putting themselves right at the front line of the virus. I know we don't like to talk about the virus, but it is important that we acknowledge those people who are working their butts off to keep us safe. So I hope that answers the how do I use the app question. In Android, there's a few extra features. There's a little cog wheel in both versions where you can change the flag or location. There's also the camera where you can go in and set social media frames. Unfortunately, that hasn't been released on iPhone at this stage, and I'm not sure if we're going to get it through in time. And lastly, this is something that's very dear to my heart. When you click on the little icon that looks like the traditional, typical medico icon, can't quite see it, but
yeah, it's gone.
It's this one here. Looks like the serpent. When you touch that, it's going to bring up the help numbers. And these are hot buttons numbers. So if I touch the phone number for Beyond Blue, it is going to launch my phone so that I can call Beyond Blue, or it'll take you to the website. Now, because of the work I do, I know how important it is to put those things at your fingertips. For those who are in New Zealand, you'll be presented with these New Zealand options. And outside of those two countries, you'll be redirected to a website that actually it's a global website that gives you the numbers for every single country's suicide prevention or help-seeking phone numbers. So there is help in there if for some reason you find yourself a little bit distressed. Best thing you can do with the app, though, get in there and play with it. I want you to try and break it. I want you to try and break it. Don't break your phone. But by getting in there and playing with it, the developer gets to collect some data on what might be going wrong, and it gives them a chance to fix it.
And there is no tracing of your personal information in that app. We don't up there. Well, I think that's an extra cost, isn't it? So it's only when developers and app people pay extra that you can actually put those tracing things on, and we haven't done that.
Well, you can put it on a free app, but most of the time apps have ads in there which actually fund the developer. That's how they earn their income. We didn't want to have advertisements. There is a cost. I think it's not much. It's like $1 for every 1,000 people that use the geotag. But when you're talking about the possibility of 30 million people, that's a lot of money that none of us really have.
No, right.
That's why the postcode. When you put your postcode in, it sets the time zone. That's all it does. There's no tracking. There's none of that nasty stuff that some people may think we've embedded in there. It just doesn't exist.
Yeah. That's good. Going through some of the questions, because I know I just typed them all up, and you sort of went through about 15 of them. So my list is now a little bit out of order, but that's okay.
I'd rather repeat them to you. I'd rather repeat them so that everybody's really clear.
Well, that's what I just sort of said, that isn't a problem. So this one you definitely covered. Why isn't the candle working? Because it's not Anzac Day.
That's right.
So, okay, what do we need to do?
Well, you need to be outside. You need to be outside. So you need to set an alarm on that same device that app is installed on. Set yourself an alarm. That can be literally 10 minutes to 6 if you want to make the most of your comfy beds. But the full dawn service broadcast does commence at 5:30. Hop out the front at 5 minutes to 6, 10 minutes to if you've got a long driveway, or it takes a little longer to wrangle the kids. And then at 6 o'clock, you're going to hear the ode, then the last post, the period of silence, reveille, and the National Anthem. So that is the order of service and the timing and what you need to do.
That's it. You need to, turn up.
Okay. You need to get up and walk outside.
What time do I play my instrument?
So that will be approximately 6:01 and 22 seconds, because the ode tends to go for about a minute if the full ode is read. But you'll know, as musicians, if you've got the ABC running on the radio or you're using our app, and the app's probably going to be simpler for you because you can run a little earbud up, you play along with the last post. What we don't want to see is 3, 4, 50 different brass players playing at different tempos, starting at different times throughout a neighbourhood. That's going to overshadow the traditional service, and it's going to make for a pretty awful experience for everybody. So we ask that you play along, follow the tempo, follow the start time and the end period of that piece. And then reveille is a difficult piece to play. Some have chosen the rouse or ruse, depending on what side of the river you're from there. We ask that if you aren't playing reveille, that you wait until the conclusion of the service and the round of applause, and then play your guts out, play the ruse.
No worries. A few people have there's been lots of craft shared on the page, and people are asking sort of what they can do. And you know what? It doesn't have to be complicated. We can keep this as simple and respectful as we like. So I've seen cupcakes, cupcake holders turned into poppies. I've seen egg cartons, and some of those look amazing. It's a bit of red paint on and pipe cleaner. So you will find heaps and heaps of craft ideas on the page. So when you go into the page, you can search for them. When you go into the group, there's a topic thing at the top of the page when you go in there. And if you go into topics and put craft, like look for the craft one and the ideas, you will find heaps of ideas. You know, we've seen some beautiful things that you've had time to buy and purchase, that, you know, to put your candle in and to hang on, put on your garbage bin. I don't know. We've seen lots and lots of different things, not just through the page, but on all our local ones as well. And that's all well and good. But it's not about how flashy you can be or how fancy or the biggest, best display. It is about being respectful and remembering. So anything that you can make that gets the kids thinking about why they're doing it, that's what we want. And of course, we want to see photos of them, because it's just nice to share the fact that kids and families are doing things for Anzac Day, to hang on the front gate, to put in their window.
Exactly.
I know there's one lady who's making poppies, and she's going to put them she's going to dress her bear. She's been doing the bear hunt, and she's going to put the poppies in the window with the bear, so that she's got a little display. And that's perfect. That's exactly what we want. I put little poppies on the letterboxes, on the gates of some of the houses in my street. You know, it doesn't have to be big, but it has to be respectful.
What else do we have? I mean, we've got a lot of questions.
We do.
Keep here.
Okay, we've sort of covered the order of events.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is a good one. Can I wear my relatives' medals or my own? And if I do, which side is the correct place to place them?
Well, Ash is our protocol expert here. What I have seen is a whole heck of a lot of posts around the right thing to do and the wrong thing to do, and there's been some argy-bargy on some of those posts, and the argy-bargy is not okay, guys. If they're your medals, you wear them on your left-hand side, so over your chest. So if I'm looking at you, it would be my right, but over your heart, essentially, on your left breast. If they're somebody else's medals, if they're your dad's medals, your granddad's medals, you wear them on the right-hand side. Now, there are some rules around whether or not you wear them at all if somebody is still alive. If that veteran has given you permission to wear them, then that's who you primarily need to respect. But relatives go on the right. If you didn't earn the medals yourself, if they weren't awarded to you for bravery, valor, or service, or any of the things that medals are awarded for, if they were awarded to you, they go on your left. If they're not, they go on your right. I used to wear my dad's miniatures when we marched together and I was a kid. He's very much alive, and it was an honour to wear them and to represent him. Excellent. I hope that satisfies that question.
It does. It answers it for me. So hopefully the others. This information is available on the Department of Veteran Affairs page, and I've put the link in that little feeder going across the bottom, and it will be on the page. We will actually put all the answers in the comments as well, so that you have those answers there for you. This one is, do I wear a poppy or rosemary?
The thing is, and again, there's been a lot of argy-bargy over this, and medals I can understand, but come on, arguing over a flower, a floral ornament, or a herb is just silly. Stop the arguing over things. Both are appropriate. In Australia for Anzac Day, we typically go with rosemary. But if you have a look at any of the photos at the Australian War Memorial or any of the shrines and cenotaphs around Australia on Anzac Day, you'll see that poppies are very heavily represented as well. In New Zealand, the poppy is worn in place of rosemary. So again, this argy-bargy about what's appropriate and what's not, it's different in different places. The fact is that both of them grew in Gallipoli. Along the beaches of Gallipoli, we'd find a lot of rosemary. And of course, everybody knows about Flanders Fields and the poppies that were there. Both are appropriate. Just be respectful. Don't wear a bush. Wear a tree.
I was going to say, when you go into the Anzac portal on the Department of Veteran Affairs, wattle is also acceptable in Australia to remember the fallen. So, yeah, correct. It's and it just wear it or put it in your letterbox, on your letterbox, put it in the garden, whichever. There is no rules around how we display that one.
Just a quick aside there. I hope you're all happy. I just dodged a call from Hype Duo. On Anzac Day in the afternoon, Hype Duo are going to be a part of our concert. 105 songs for 105 years. Hype Duo will be featuring on there. And I just dodged their call. I'm going to be incredibly unpopular. Go ahead. What do I need to do after the service? Well, there are a ton of offerings out there, and we're not telling everybody what to do, okay? We are going to be running a commemorative service from midday, which will be done by kids. So that's going to be extra special. And then commencing at 1 o'clock, we have the 105, or 105 songs for 105 years. It won't just be music. There's going to be some interviews from members and veterans, some little spotlights on parts of history, some shout outs from other artists, and a bit of entertainment in general. We'll have a kids spot, so the Lalas and some other children's artists will be included. I'm just going to shut Messenger because clearly some of these people are not watching.
I'm wondering who's singing.
Yeah, it's non-stop. It's relentless at the moment. So you can do whatever you like after the service. Anzac Day is supposed to be a solemn reflection of our past and the people who fought for our freedoms. So we do ask that you don't get rolling drunk, walk down the street swinging, your T-shirt above your head or anything silly like that. There is a multitude of different ways you can be entertained, both online and on regular TV. As I said, we are going to be running a series of different services. Soldier On are putting together a really beautiful service, and we'll be streaming that straight after the Australian War Memorial service as well. So if you get up, watch the Australian War Memorial, then you can watch the Soldier On one. We'll put in a bit of entertainment in between, and then at midday, we will kick off the kids' commemorative service, followed by the 101 songs for 101 years.
We've got a flyover happening where I live. I know that's miles from you. You won't get to see it, but we've got a bit of a flyover happening at 12. I'll have to check the time. I think it's at 10:45. We've got a bit of a flyover happening in the Sydney region. So I'm hoping where I am we'll actually be able to see it because that would be pretty cool as well. Okay.
Well, I did speak with the Air Force Ceremonials, the Royal Australian Air Force Ceremonials Department, and I did ask if they could do flyovers in capital cities and major regional centres, doing their best to kind of make a way over the more populated areas as they made their way back to base. I haven't had a response. It is a huge, huge ask, especially from just a civilian as myself, but who knows? Maybe they'll come to the party. Maybe they'll do that for us.
Well, I think the one over my area is a private one, but it's a group that we're actually doing an air show in the next month. And so because the air show's obviously, well, the air show hasn't been cancelled, but the public gathering has been cancelled. They put this on for the people. So that was really cool. I was really impressed when I saw that one. Hi, Trev. Trev's dropped in on all of our interviews, so we'll just acknowledge that Trev's here again. Okay, we do have some questions. When is the flag raised for the morning service to half-mast? So I suppose that goes with, I must have missed it. I thought I put in a question saying, what are the flag protocols? So if you want to answer that one, that would be great.
Well, there's a number of flag protocols. One of which is that the flag should be put up in the morning and taken down at night unless it's being illuminated. Look, I don't want everybody to feel that they have to adhere to strict protocols about absolutely everything all the way. The big thing that we're asking is that everybody is respectful. There's a lot of protocol and there's a lot of tradition in military in general. So to expect every civilian and person who's never served and every kid and to know those protocols is unreasonable, and to have a go at them for not knowing them is even more unreasonable. The general rule of thumb is to be respectful, and I'm going to ask Ash to pop an answer into the comments field here so that I don't get it wrong when it comes to the direct question of the flag being raised in the morning. Sorry, raised for the morning service to half mast. Just treat the flag with respect is Ash's response.
I was going to say, and the other one is go and check the protocols. So there is plenty of information on the internet in regards to that. So we've actually put up a post. I've got the link, so I'll make sure, or Ash can pop the link in for the flag protocols. Otherwise, again, go to the Department of Veteran Affairs. They actually have a lot of the protocols on their thing. Right.
If you are using a flagpole, then it's absolutely a very, very, very good idea to read those protocols and to adhere to them. There are actually laws around how to use a flag on a flagpole. Yeah. But if you're hanging it on your fence and things like that, just do so respectfully. Don't wear it as a cape. A flag is not a cape. It is something to be respected, and I know that's a popular thing to do on Australia Day, but it's actually quite insulting to those who have fought for it.
Okay, we've got a question about the app, and I'm going to put it up because I know we've been getting sort of a lot of questions around this. So there is a little trick to sort of getting it to do what you want, isn't it?
Yes and no. Even one of our own admins, Cole, here earlier today, thought the same thing. And it's now that it's down to 1 day and hours and minutes, we realise that the font we've chosen may not be the best. If you have a really close look, it's going to look like it says old, but it's actually 01 day. Oh. So at the moment, mine says old. 11 hours, 26 minutes and 55 seconds. It's actually 01 days, 11 hours, 26 minutes, 47 seconds.
And the other little trick has been to uninstall it and reinstall it. So if you downloaded it sort of 2 days ago and it's just not doing what you want it to do, uninstall it and reinstall it, and that will update the app. Is what I've sort of been seeing has been a lot of the answers along the way.
So there we go from a Facebook user. Yes, I was wondering about the old. You're not the only one. Even one of our own team members today was insistent. He was changing the day, he was changing the location and kept coming back saying, but it's wrong, it's wrong. And until I circled it or a couple of us circled it in a screenshot and said 01 days, not old. He was insistent that it was wrong. So it was quite funny. We all had a bit of a laugh about that. So please make sure that you read that font, or that you read that as 01 day. Tomorrow it'll all look right.
Okay. Okay, I'll let you answer this one. If I play the last post and it's not that good, can I still play it?
Well, I would. The thing is that you're playing it out of love and out of respect, and I know that your friends and family are going to love and appreciate, and I'm sure your neighbours also will appreciate the fact that you've made such a great effort. If there's 5 people playing in the street and one of them is brilliant, maybe let them be a little bit louder. But at the end of the day, Anzac Day is everybody's day. So have a good old crack at it, I say.
Yep. Okay, this one actually comes from a friend of mine. So that's nice to know that I've got a few that are following the page as well. Alana is asking, why don't we play the New Zealand National Anthem here in Australia? Because we obviously have a lot of a lot of Kiwis in Australia.
And in New Zealand, they play both anthems, which I agree with. I think we should be playing both. Anzac is Australia and New Zealand Army Corps, so we should be playing both. Unfortunately, that is not a decision we have any control over. However, we will certainly be making some noise in the future to try and get that included. It was only a couple of days ago that we found out that that wasn't going to be played. I have gone on record with the powers that be to say that I don't agree with that, and we're going to continue to pester them over the next 6 and a bit months up until Remembrance Day, and then beyond to the next Anzac Day to include. Certainly on Anzac Day, it should be included.
I think we're in the 105 for 105. We've got the Australian National Anthem and the New Zealand National Anthem.
Yeah,
so whilst they may not be played at the dawn service, they will be played through the app at some stage during the day. So you will get to hear it. It is there. Rochelle's got a quick little tip for us there about the app, which she found today, and that's literally have your location service turned on before you get the app, and that way it's much easier for it to work out where you are. So Rochelle found that out after having uninstalled it, turning the location service on, and then reinstalling it, and everything worked beautifully. So that's good. I'm glad that one worked as well.
That's interesting. It must be something to do with the phone and how it interacts with the app itself, because we aren't using location services to run the app. We're actually drawing the time off the phone itself. So if for some weird reason you've manually set your phone to the wrong time, you're going to find that things kick off at the wrong time for you as well.
We have answered this one, and it is so on the over the heart. So which side, Justin?
So the wearer's left-hand side, the person who's wearing
yours,
left. If it's your medal,
someone else's.
And if they're relatives' medals, you wear them on your right-hand side, the wearer's right-hand side.
Okay. Ash is just giving us a tip that please, if you do have a flagpole, stick to the rules in regards to the flags. And if you're not sure what they are, search the page. We will definitely have them up there, and we will be putting them, they'll be on our page, but you can also find them at the Anzac portal at dva.gov.au. Okay, Trictor. There you go. We've all had a play with the apps as well, haven't we? So that some of the team are just sort of saying it tricked a few of us as well. But I think we've all got it happening now.
And apps are a tricky thing, because they're, especially for Android, to a lesser degree for Apple. Apple's had 11 different iterations now, 11 different iPhones, and I think 12 or 13 operating systems. Even more complex with Android, you've got Samsung, Sony, just Huawei, or however you say it, Hui. You've got hundreds, like 200 different types of manufacturers and handsets of differing ages, and of course, then there's all the variations of setting. We had some issues where people have increased their font size to such a large size that the app wouldn't work. Because the text sat in front of the map. So we've put a change through just last night that will override those user settings within the app and normalize the font so that everything works as designed. There's a bunch of stuff you just can't discover in a small testing group. You have to throw it to market and let everybody play, and then you go, "Oh, didn't think of that. Oh, didn't think of that either."
And we were a little bit time pressured to get it happening. So all the basics are there. If it doesn't do absolutely everything that you think it should, we do apologise, but the team have been working nonstop to find as many of those faults and get them fixed for you. I think this is in relation.
Well, I have to say, I have to put in the reminder or the caveat out there. Like, we haven't really said this, but it's a reminder, it's a reality check, if you like, that we've created these apps from the ground up. So from concept through design, through development to publishing in 3.5 weeks, absolutely for free. It hasn't cost us a cent. So the developers have dedicated their time from Spain for free, and created something pretty impressive in 3.5 weeks.
Yeah.
Had we known that this was going to take off the way it did, and that, well, if we have known we were going to be isolated and had the idea sooner, we would have had the luxury of time, perhaps even the luxury of money, to be able to have been even more robust and have more people working on it. But the Android app was created by one man. I had the idea, Ash did the design, and this one man developed that from the ground up in 3 and a bit weeks. The iPhone app was created in 3 days by taking the Android one and trying to replicate it as quickly as possible. It's unheard of. It's absolutely unheard of. So we apologize if there's any bugs. We're working really hard, but we can't promise that it's going to work for every single variation of setting, phone, operating system, location, etc. Next year it will.
I did see that the guy that took the photograph of the war memorial, he was pretty chuffed that we picked his photo for the background. Off the top of my head, I can't remember his name, but absolutely beautiful photograph. And I love that it just really has that solemn, respectful look about it with that. And so, yeah, thank you for the photograph, because it is beautiful.
I had to smile to you when he posted it to the page maybe a week ago, just a few days before the Android app was launched. He posted it there as, just as he should, as a bit of a brag piece, because it's a bloody good photo.
Yeah.
And there were comments galore, and it was liked and loved and shared. And I snuck in there towards the end and said, "I'm so glad you all love this photo so much."
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful photo.
Backdrop.
Okay, now back to Ash's comment. I think this was in regard to the question about whether or not they should continue to play. But Ash has sort of said she would not, but it's a personal thing. We can't tell you what to do. So it needs to be respectful. So if you can't play it properly, then probably don't. Or wait till after the service. But
the best thing you can probably do is go and talk to your neighbours. It's your neighbours. If your neighbours are okay with a version that's not quite perfect, if you live in a small cul-de-sac and you knock on all their doors and they're like, go for it, then go for it. What I'd hate to see is a 10, 12, 15-year-old kid, or even a grown adult for that matter, suddenly have their neighbours tell them to shut up. Yeah. That I'd hate to see. So we really encourage you to go and knock on their doors or do the letterbox drop, invite them, give them the opportunity to say don't play it, and respect the majority of wishes. Yeah.
There you go. Ash is letting us know that there's no way that image was not going to be our background. The minute she saw it, she asked for it. And I'm going to guess that the photograph came from Paul. So thank you very much, Paul. It is an amazing photograph. Actually, I think that a while back when at Education Week, I think it was last year, my daughter did a drawing at school or colouring in thing. I think they had sort of half a drawing and they had to do the mirror of it. And it literally was that same angle. So it's a very well-known angle, but that photograph is brilliant. I love it.
Absolutely.
Okay. There you go. Somebody's saying thank you. I don't have the name of this one, but thank you. Everyone's very happy. Oh, that one, they know the name of the app developer. So that could be Anita that snuck that message in. I'm not sure.
Rico Ruiz Martin, and he's an absolute gentleman. I'm hoping that we can get, just time difference makes it challenging, but I'm hoping we can get him and perhaps his iPhone brother-in-law developer onto a live stream before Anzac Day. Can't guarantee it because they are very busy and there's a 8-hour time difference, but we'll give it a crack.
Yep. Okay. Now, this one's a good tip. Remind people to change the lock timers on their phone so that the candle stays on the screen, because the candle will flicker, but unless you're actively doing things on your phone, I know my phone turns off after 30 seconds or after a minute. So you might just want to go into your settings and change when your phone automatically locks. And if you change it to sort of 10 minutes, and then that way you'll at least get to appreciate and use the candle in the morning without stressing about it disappearing and having to turn it back on again and missing part of the service. So change the lock on your phone do it now while we're here, or sometime tomorrow. Now, Leanne's a bit worried that the app might go into overload and shut down on Saturday morning. And having seen Centrelink and the schools do the same, it's a good point. But
it is a good point.
But we're not all doing it at exactly the same time, are we? We're all doing it at 5:30. But 5:30 in Perth is different to 5:30 in New South Wales. So hopefully that time delay will
And this is why we didn't go for video as well. This is why we didn't go for video. At first we thought how great it would be to be able to watch the service. I did everything I could to connect with Telstra, Optus and Vodafone to check whether or not their bandwidth would be able to handle that. They had so much going on with COVID-19 and the closure of their call centres and so forth that I just couldn't get a response.
Well, so I'm getting School and Centrelink back up and running as well.
That's right. So we opted to go purely with the audio function from the ABC. In every state of Australia, the stream will be taken from a different part of the ABC's network. So the cell towers are probably the thing that will be pinging the most. But compressed audio through a streaming is fairly small bandwidth. So we're pretty confident that everything's going to be okay. The developer's confident. Everyone else I've spoken to is confident. Video would have trashed us. Oh, I've closed all my windows. How am I still pinging?
It's not mine. I'm not pinging at the moment. He's disappeared off us. Okay, he must have answered the phone call. So the Facebook user that has been commenting is Samantha. So hello, Samantha. Thank you for following along. She also suggests have the radio app ready. Do you know what? You'll be able to watch half of the service in your house anyway. So if you tune into the ABC, you'll be able to see parts of it. It's really once you step outside, there's only sort of a small amount that you really need to be there with your phone. So have your app on, have your computer on, watch the whole service, and I'm pretty sure that we're all going to get to hear it and watch what we need to. Righto, I think.
So for those who may have joined late, you may not be aware that once the live stream is over, you can actually replay it. So it lives on the page continuously. You can also go to our YouTube channel where all of the live streams get updated. So that's Aussies and Kiwis for Anzacs on YouTube, and they all get saved there. So that same experience, easier to find sometimes than the very busy group page that we have here. So yeah, Aussies and Kiwis for Anzacs on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, and very, very, very soon, a website as well. Being built in the background.
Before Saturday, though.
Yes, it will be there before Saturday, and it will be hosting. It will be hosting the 105. So yeah, that's madly being done in the background at the moment, again for free.
Excellent. And I know we've had a lot of people working in the background as well. So, Justin and I have been doing our bit. Ash, Anita, Jody, Cole, Natasha. Which one have I forgot? Ash. Sorry. Renee. I was just trying to run through them all there. But we've also had OJ. We've had, a countless number of people doing things behind us and just making sure that we're doing the right thing, that we've got the actions that we want up and running. So I want to just say thank you to everyone for the support and the help, and helping all of this run so smoothly. Appear to run smoothly.
Oh, there's been some hiccups. There've been some headaches. There's been some about faces, 120, 180 degree turns, and we're going that way now. But that's also been part of the excitement of what we're doing, is that it doesn't get boring. Things pop up and you get to change direction. You watch what people are talking about and you say, hey, that's a great idea. Why don't we do that? So no, actually not an issue at all.
I'm guessing that this one is from Samantha, and now I know who Samantha is. She's actually another friend of mine, because from Campbelltown, and saying that Campbelltown City Council have a recorded service. And I think you will find that most councils that run a service will have a recorded service. So you can join the Aussie and Kiwi for Anzac's live stream of the national service, but like every Anzac Day, you have the choice then to go or listen to your more localised services that are around. I suppose the big thing is at 5:30 or 5 to 6 that we all stand in our driveway and we're all united. We're all remembering our fallen. So, and keeping it, in the words of Bill, Sowry from last night, I've lost my bit of paper again.
Simple, what was it? Solemn and safe.
Simple, solemn and safe. That's the one. So that is the ultimate goal, and that's what we want.
Well, the thing is, the people we're remembering on Saturday are the people who fought for the freedom of choice that we all have. Radio stations and TV networks and smaller producers all over the country are doing their own dawn services, putting together their own broadcasts. But the vast majority of those stations are also respecting the timeliness and the tradition of the Australian War Memorial. So there's not a lot of people that are going to come in over the top of that. We specifically chose the national service because we want to unite our countries together. We want a synchronised event. So all along the eastern seaboard, those in Victoria will know that Tassie, New South Wales and Queensland are standing with them. And then when we get to the central, Northern Territory and South Australia will be standing together. And then all of Western Australia will be standing together. Of course, 2 hours before we see the service coming out of Canberra, our Kiwi brothers and sisters will be standing together too.
So there, Lana, if you want to hear the New Zealand National Anthem, you can get up and change your time zone on your phone and pretend you're in New Zealand at what time's that? 5 to 4 in New South Wales. There's one more comment. I'm going to guess from Samantha again, saying it's running the ABC now, so it's already streaming through. So you don't have to actually go and look for it. When you open the app, it's there.
So we put a change through. Originally, when the Android app was first put out, the iOS app was supposed to also do the same thing, and that was to block the stream until 5:30 in the morning. We thought that you wouldn't all want another music streaming app. But then we got overwhelming feedback saying, my radio's not working. I want my radio to work. So we've turned it back on.
Yep. So you do have the radio there from now through till after all of Anzac Day. I'm not sure how long it'll run after that, but it will definitely run all of Anzac Day.
Until the ABC tell us not to anymore.
Okay, Samantha, all good. Okay. Oh, these people are funny. They've got their own little private joke happening there now, and that's okay. It's all on me. I got the names mixed up, but that's because it's coming through as Facebook user. So I appreciate everyone that has jumped on and is asking questions. So all good. Righto. I think
we've got a couple of other suggestions here. There's a couple of other suggestions I've picked up that, and a number of people have talked to me about this already. Your car's in your driveway in most cases, or in the garage. Tune the ABC radio into that as well. It is going to be synchronized. We should find that the radio and the app are delivering at the same time. or just have it there as a backup. Again, be respectful. You don't need to blast it over. If you've got a great stereo, you don't need to blast your neighbours away. They may prefer a slightly quieter service for themselves, especially those who have already served. Is there anything else that we may have missed?
There is something, and I was just going to try and check some of the stats, but that's okay. What I was going to say is the page itself and the group is getting an astronomical amount of posts come through it. Okay, so we do ask just a couple of things, and that is that your posts aren't offensive, that there is no bullying, and that you aren't disrespectful. Okay, we do have filters in, so certain words will pop up as a warning to us. So if we don't see your post and you've used offensive language, it gets reported to us automatically.
And you get muted for the next 3 days. You will not be able to comment again until after Anzac Day. So keep it clean, keep it classy. The very least, you'll be muted, right all the way through to blocked. We are not interested in second chances anymore. We have far too much to do. We're all adults and we all know how to behave properly. So if somebody's upset you, report it. Don't go on a keyboard warrior tangent and start calling them all sorts of names.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So if you don't like the post, the report button is in the top corner. There's 3 little dots. And if you click on that, you'll have the option to report it to admin. Please do that, because there is just the traffic going through the page is amazing. So I'm trying to find an expressive word for it, but there is just so much traffic going through that we don't catch absolutely everything. Even with 8 sets of eyes, we don't catch everything. So please use the 3 buttons at the top of the post, or even just at the top of the comment. Okay, those 3 buttons are going to be there on everything. Use those, report it to us, and that way we actually get a notification and can decide whether or not that it is appropriate, or whether or not you're out, whether that particular comment or that post is out.
The other thing I might touch on there, Tia, is that if you're sharing something that's not your own original post, so you're sharing something from another page, a video clip perhaps, we have seen so much content come through the page. If it doesn't get approved, it's because it's already been shared. So Hype Duo is probably the best example, the song We Will Remember Them. It came out, about 5 or 6 days ago. Got 350,000 views in the first hour that it came out. And for about 3 days, it was every 3rd post in the pending bucket. We don't want the page to get flooded with the same thing over and again. We do allow a little bit of duplication, just so that things you don't have to go hunting 2 weeks back to find it. But if your post doesn't get approved, it's likely because it's already in the stream. So music, go to topics, Anzac music, you'll find it all in there. So if you try and share Hype Duo and you can't find, it doesn't get approved, go to music and you'll find it there. There's a bush poem. I can't remember the guy. He's sitting there around a fire with a couple of kids. I think I've declined that 15 times today alone.
It's all right. I've got people walking in and out of my room. Can you close the door, please, so that I can continue? We're nearly done. Okay. We have, this one. There we go. Rita and Paul from Anzac Lights here on Aussies and Kiwis feel very privileged to be part of this monumental occasion. So thank you, Paul and Rita. Now,
sorry, I'm just going to jump in over the top there because this is a question. What is the radio station number? Well, honestly, there are so many different ones. ABC National is different everywhere. So in Melbourne, it's 774. In other parts of the country, it's different. The easiest way to tell is to turn the app on, go to your stereo, and find what matches.
Yeah.
You can Google it, but the easiest and most absolutely certain way is to have the app going while you're tuning your radio in.
Excellent. Now, I did get those. I did get the stats up, and just to share, we are over 234,000 members on our Facebook group, which means that we're about 16,000 short of our goal. So please invite your friends to the group. Okay, go up to the top where it asks you to invite your friends. Invite your friends along, because we would love to see 250,000 members before Saturday. So we've got 1 day and 11 hours, haven't we? Or an old 11 hours, whichever way you look at it. We have 1 day and 11 hours to get another 16,000 members, which would be amazing. Post live.
Go to the top of the page, click more, invite, and add everybody in your friends list. If they're not already here, go to the top, click more, click invite, and select everybody.
Or share it to your page and tell your friends, follow this page, join us. You know, there's a lot happening on here. There's great stories. This is where you'll find the craft. And as Ash said, I think this is in relation to the radio station as well as some of the other questions. Google it. Definitely a sentence that we're all used to. And in this case, we're not talking Dr. Google. We're talking Google as an information source. So Google will definitely know how you can find the ABC in your area. Okay, there has been.
Thank you.
Where's Justin going?
I already got it sitting here. I'm just refreshing it. Oh, okay. All right. I'm going to hang up from you. Bye. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, www.aussiesandkiwis4anzacs.com.au is now live. www.aussiesandkiwis4anzacs.com.au is now live.
Excellent.
Yeah, well, are you able to share your screen and bring that up? Or
okay. Well, you keep talking for a minute and I will find it and we'll go from there.
Talking. I am bloody good at talking. In fact, I'll do this. I'll put it up on the screen as well. So, yeah, look, I'm going to recap. The main questions that we've had is around the app and the timing of things. So the app is called Anzac Day 2020. It's Anzac Day 2020. Separate words, not all tied up. It's on both stores. The Android app has more features than the iPhone app simply because we ran out of time and we wanted to deliver the core functionality rather than nothing at all. At 5:30 a.m. in your local time zone, the National Dawn Service will commence through Radio New Zealand or the ABC here in Australia. And at 5 minutes to 6, you'll be prompted on the mobile or by your own body clocks or microwave clocks. At 5 minutes to 6, we need you to walk out to the driveway if you're not already there. At 6 a.m., the broadcast will commence the ode, the last post, the minute or two of silence, then reveille, the national anthem, and then we'd like you to all give a round of applause for our health workers and for each other.
Okay.
That's the main rundown of the day. If you can play the trumpet, bugle, trombone, sax, tuba, guitar, and you're good at it, if you're good at it, then absolutely play along with the service. If you're not so good at it or you're a little uncertain, maybe check in with your neighbours and see whether or not you've got their support. And I'm sure that in 99% of cases, your neighbours will say go for it. How are you going there, T? Are you having any joy?
I'm getting there. I just needed to double.
I'll keep recapping. When it comes to medals, if the medals are yours, they go on your left-hand side. So on your left chest, above your heart. If they're relatives, you wear them on your right-hand side. So not as somebody's looking at you, but as your left and your right. Flags, check up on the protocols, especially if you have a flag pole. The protocols are easily available at the dva.gov.au site. That's DVA, Department of Veteran Affairs.gov.au. They're also posted fairly consistently throughout the thread of the Facebook group. General rule of thumb, though, is to be respectful. Don't leave it up overnight unless it's illuminated. Put it all the way up in the morning and bring it to half-mast at the commencement of the dawn service, so just before 5:30 in the morning. Some of the other questions we've had is how to use the app. When you first launch it, we'll ask you if you'd like to make a donation. Anyone who donates over $10 is going to receive a physical pin, like a lapel pin, that's identical to the virtual pin, the PNG image that you get after making a donation of any amount. So everybody gets the virtual pin and the virtual frames for Facebook. But if you donate over $10, you also get a physical pin. And the way that's going to be working is that on Monday, Soldier On will send an email to everybody asking them to send their address to us. So anyone who's donated over $10 will send their address to us once they receive that email from Soldier On Monday, and we will start putting them in envelopes as soon as they've come off the conveyor belts at the factory. They're made in Australia by an Australian company, using Australian materials and Australian workers for anyone who questions or wonders. Under the permit for the use of the word Anzac, we are not permitted to import anything that has the word Anzac on it. And some of the rules and regulations and, things that we've put in place around selling is because of that legislation. It's not because we just don't want you to do it. It's because there's a $10,000 fine and up to 3 months jail for breaching that legislative requirement around use of the word Anzac. So we do have a permit. We are allowed to enable those sellers, but the window has now closed to get on the page as a seller. We just don't have the time to manage all of the artwork that we've been doing. But as Trev and Paul and Rita and several others can attest, we've worked with them so that they can donate to Soldier On and we can help veterans. We don't get a slice. We don't care about that. We just want to do what we can to make this a great event, of course, but also to support veterans and help them thrive.
Okay.
I need to put my glasses on in order to read comments, so excuse me putting them on and off and on and off and on and off.
Okay. I did get
Australian. Yeah.
And
I think a bunch of people have gone over to the website because I'm seeing well done on the new website. Looks amazing. Awesome stuff, team.
I've got it on my tablet. I just haven't got it on my phone yet, on my computer.
I think that if I hit this button here, unless I'm mistaken. No, it looks like I'm mistaken.
Okay. So whilst I can't share the screen, hold on a second. Whilst I can't share the screen, let me just, I can show you this. So when you go onto the website, this is what it's going to look like. So there's our logo, okay, and you'll be able, it was there a second ago. This doing it backwards.
Just go and have a look.
Okay, so you can see it there. Okay, and we go up, there is that amazing photograph again. Okay, we can donate, and I'm guessing to Soldier On without having to look at it. And there's just a little bit about it, and there's the download of the app straight directly from the App Store or from Android. And yeah, you'll be able to have a bit of a look around and see what your options are. That will take you, I'm going to guess, directly to Facebook. So all the links are there. And one of the admin have put the link up in the comments for me now. So with the system, with you watching it, you should be able to click on that comment and find it. But no doubt, as soon as we get off this, we will be putting it up there and sharing that around. Oh, there is, I'm just looking at it now. So I was on the home screen. Oh, look, I found some more stuff on it. Where's my light gone?
Well, let's let everybody go and discover it for themselves, Tia. We've been going for an hour and 10 minutes. Let's let everybody go and discover it for themselves.
It's time to go and get some dinner. So I think everybody should know what to do.
Yeah, let everybody have a crack at it. I've got a bunch of phone calls I need to return. Otherwise, Saturday's going to be an absolute circus. So I am going to get out of here. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Check out the website, download the app, tell your friends, and we'll see you in your driveways on Saturday.
That's the one. See you on Saturday.
I'm out of here.
And now, where's our ad? We better play our ad to finish up. This one.